3 or 4. So I'm excited to see if anyone has seen previous ones and what they think of this one by comparison. We are continuing to figure out the technology of things because there's a few
This is new. Yeah,
there's some moving parts, and I think a lot of the technology isn't 100% there yet. Like even we noticed John Lee Dumas did one a couple days ago using Wirecast. We're using Smile Time, in case you're wondering. And John Lee Dumas used Wirecast, and even his audio wasn't syncing 100% with his mouth moving. So I think there's just something new about the technology that's not 100% there yet. But
I see that it's actually on, so it's live right now. And I see that the voice is off a little bit, but people will get the point of view for it. So let me share this so I can get it to all pages right now.
Yeah, so while you share it, I can just do a little quick introduction to what we were thinking about covering in today's episode. So in particular, I'm sure we'll go on a couple of tangents because we like to do that. But
I do that all the time.
It's mostly his fault. Wait.
It is my fault.
But we wanted to share some epic fails that we've had and what we've learned from it and how it's made us better, but kind of just to laugh about it too, because honestly, everyone has mistakes. Everyone falls flat on their face at some point. And actually, Brandon interviewed me about an hour or two ago for his podcast. So keep your eye out. I think next Thursday, so a week from today, I'm going to be the podcast guest on University of Young Entrepreneurs. And I shared a couple of my failed business attempts in my 20s. And Brandon had a few laughs about that. So I can share those here too. And I know he's got some crazy stories. So we wanted to share some epic fails, #EpicFail, but say it, in a way that you see everyone's human. And that's the way you improve, is you have to fail to move forward. It's learning.
It is learning. And so now that I shared to every single page, and I think I've shared to 5 of my pages right now, and now we're live and we can start talking. And so I don't get confused, I'll actually look at your screen because I keep going. I look at our stuff and you see that we're talking, and then you see the lag time.
It's so you start watching yourself?
Yeah, I start watching myself, and it's a little weird. Like, what am I doing here? So here we are. So we're talking about failures, and I think failures are just a stepping stone towards your success, and you need them. And I've done a lot of dumb shit in my time, and even now I still make mistakes. And whoever's here, I think we got Matt. What's up, buddy? If that's you live, everybody too, ask questions along the way. Ask us questions, anything you want to hear. And I'll tell you anything because I have no shame. Like, I'll tell you whatever you want to know. But I've had a lot of failures in business. But I think if you're not making mistakes, you're not making decisions. And Laura, I mean, how many times think about, like, you had to make decisions and they weren't always right, but at least you were failing forward versus some people, they're afraid to make mistakes. And what they do is they never get anywhere and they want it to be perfect and they never launch. And when they do launch, it's way too late. So just launch and go. Make your mistakes fast, learn from them, and make pivots and get better. And that's why, like, when I make a decision on something, it's like 360. Like, when we make a change and we run with it. We don't look back and just continue to learn from it. And I think that's a big thing. People, they're so critical on, let's say it's a podcast show. They're so critical on what their picture will look like. They're so critical on what the audio is going to be at the beginning. They're so critical on the structure. And for a business, a lot of people like, oh, I need to get my LLC created. Then from there, I need to think about my logo and tagline. Heck, let me tell you something. Arctic Stick, it was 2 years before I made it into an actual corporation. Like 2 years, because I wasn't making any money. And for some of the business I had, like, we just went with something and learned, and if we made money from it, okay, it's a business. And I think so many people, they get stuck up in the technical things, the little bitty things, and that's why I have people on my team that are more analytical and stuff. But for me, I make a decision and fucking go with it. I don't like to mess around. I hate procrastinating. I like to move. Everything that I'm doing today should have been done 10 days ago. Can you relate with that, Laura?
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, I'm less forward than you. Like, I'm a little bit more analytical, which I feel like makes this also a good team too, because I might think about it a little longer and you're like, but still, like, you have to get past that point of slowing down so much that it just keeps your feet in cement. Like I've got some really good friends that are just starting out as entrepreneurs, and they're just, oh, I think we lost you, Brandon. I don't know if it's just me. Are you there? Are you there? Brandon. Oh my goodness, the technology on this thing. Let's see. I'm going to message him really fast.
Am I back?
Are you coming back? Oh, there you are.
Okay. I try to say to Gail, hi, Gail, Traco. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? No?
I can, but I think that I think we both have technical issues going on here today.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I did is I put somebody in the chat. I wanted to say hi to Gail, who's listening.
Oh.
I like you, Brandon. I like you too. It's been a long time since I've talked to her. And then we also have, amen, Brandon Adams, Andrea from the Accelerator. I'm back. I'm back. But no, that's the thing. We're still learning with this technology, and there's some lag time, but we're going to get it knocked out. We're going to figure it out. But hey, it's like we got back to, it's sometimes don't wait until it's perfect. Just get it out there. And the people that created Smile Time and Wirecast, like they just put it out there and they're making tweaks and learning as we go to get, and it's like for me as an inventor, the prototypes you create. Like you got to create prototypes and they're going to be ugly at first, but eventually you're going to get your end product. And that was one thing. So when we were talking to mistakes, that's one big mistake that I made is I delayed launch for a year for my invention, the Arctic Stick. And I don't know if I've shared this in too many places. So I delayed an entire year because the tooling that we had that created the product that mass produced it actually didn't work quite exactly how we wanted. I spent a lot of money on that. And the product for the Arctic Stick, it didn't completely seal. And atmospheric pressure, when you go in the mountains, like the top would pop. So it wouldn't seal the liquid inside. And so because of that, I was so like particular on the product that I delayed launch. And then finally a year later, I'm like, you know what? Why not just launch it? I mean, it works. Yeah. So then I launched it on the market. So that was one of my failures. I was so particular on how it needed to be just right. I should have just launched and learned. And then I launched and it was fine. So 1 year of mistake there. I delayed an entire year of the launch of my product.
I have technical issues. Keep going. This is an epic fail in the making.
Can you hear me at all?
Tell us another one.
Okay, I'll keep going. So that was one of my failures. One of my failures was the Arctic Stick example. And so, I mean, some other examples along the way. My podcast show, when I launched my podcast show, huge failure. What I did is I launched. I didn't really have much of a runway. So I launched without any podcast shows in the books. Like some people say they launch, I got 20 interviews ready to go, and then I launched and I have a runway. When I launched, are you with me now, Laura?
It cuts in and out. I think my headphones are dying. Okay. This is my second set that are dying. So keep going, but
one of your epic failures, your headphones. So with my shows,
of course, right when it's live.
When I launched, what I did is I put episode 1. It was how to turn your idea into a reality, and I launched a show. And I had no other shows in the books. So what I did is every week I just had to create a show right before, and then what I did is I traveled around the country and interviewed people, and literally like the interviews would go out the next day. And I made it though. Every Tuesday and Thursday I had a show go out. I never missed it, but I had to rush to find the interviews. And I should have, looking back on it, I wish I would have launched with a bunch of interviews already created. Mm-hmm. I wish I would have prepared more to get more 5 stars and reviews. I wish I would have learned better in the editing process. There were so many things I did wrong, but now like I've learned from that, and we can at least share with people to not make the mistakes again.
Yeah, and I mean, if you didn't do it, can you hear me, by the way?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. But if you didn't do it, you probably still wouldn't have a freaking podcast, or you wouldn't be, 3 years into one or 2 years into one? You would
2 years.
Yeah, you'd be like 2 months into it if you kept waiting until you knew everything.
Yeah, and that's where it goes back to show, like, you just have to launch. I mean, learn from some of the mistakes people make like I did, but at least put it out there. For me, it was like failing forward and learning from them mistakes and just keep going. So yeah. I want to go into your you brought this up on our show today. I want to talk about your epic failure making balloons. Balloon animal, a monkey. You can still make a monkey out of balloon.
Don't give it all away.
Okay. All right, I told it all. Okay.
Okay, so one of my first business attempts, I was probably like 23 or so, and I met these two guys at a course. It was like a Rich Dad, Poor Dad from Robert Kiyosaki's book. Some people in Arizona, because I think that he's local to Arizona, they would put on classes at the local community colleges teaching you about real estate investing or teaching you about business or whatever. And so I took a class and I met these two guys in the class and we were like, yeah, let's start a business together. We love Rich Dad, Poor Dad, let's do it. And one of the guys was really good at making balloon animals, and he could make like a couple $100 like at a kid's party or go to a fair or a restaurant or something. And he would just go up to parents and say, it's free, just donation, whatever you feel like it's worth, you can give me a tip kind of thing. And he would make a killing at it. So we were like, all right, we could charge a family a couple $100 an hour or a package or whatever for a party, and we could get balloon animal making artists.
Yeah.
And we could take a cut and facilitate that. But in order to really be able to sell that, I was like, well, yeah, I need to learn a little bit about balloon animal making. So one of the guys who was good at it, I remember we used to meet, this is coming back to me now. We used to meet, I think, at a Barnes and Noble in the Biltmore shopping plaza of Arizona, if anyone knows that area. So we used to meet at that Barnes and Noble, and I remember it was at night, and he had like a van, and we popped the trunk of the van, and he was like teaching me how to make balloon animals like in the middle of the parking lot at night. It probably looked so weird to people walking by. And yeah, have a laugh.
So no, you never made money selling balloons then?
Well, I guess they probably made like $20 or $30 because he was like, okay, you need to go to actually sell this, like at least once, just so you know. So he had a relationship with this restaurant in downtown Phoenix where he would go and he would just walk from table to table, like interrupt people eating breakfast and like make balloon animals for their kids.
Doesn't work, yeah.
Well, it did. Like, I think I made like $30 or $40 just like in an hour or two. I mean, it was pretty good for back then. I don't know, but I was like mortified. I was like, I don't want to ever do this again. So yeah, I still to this day, I know how to make a monkey. That was my favorite one with like this big tail. So if I have one of those long balloons and a pumper, I can make a monkey anywhere I go. Great for parties.
It's so when I see you when you come to Orlando, I want to have you make a monkey balloon for me.
Okay. I don't think I have like the tools anymore. I don't know.
Hey Laura, can you put your microphone down? I think it's does it actually work there?
Because I was talking out of this one, but listening out of this.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what it is.
But can you not hear me well? Because
it's scratchy a little bit, but it's better than nothing. I mean, again, it's better than nothing. We're just actually creating something and putting content out there.
Two podcasters who can't get the audio to work.
And Andrea wants you to make her one. So you need to go, lives down the street, make her a monkey today.
I guess I'm going to have to bring the balloon animals back. I think when Devin and my husband and I moved to Europe last year, I think we got rid of it. Like we got rid of everything. I had like a bag of them and like a hand pumper because you can't blow it up. Like it takes forever and it exhausts you. So you have to have a little hand pumper. I know it's so embarrassing. And then it's like so phallic looking. I mean, the whole thing is rather embarrassing.
So you had a balloon failure. I've had a product failure. You've had a balloon failure. I've had a podcast failure. What are some podcasting failures that you have made that you've learned from that helps you become a better podcaster?
Honestly, I started my podcast when we were living in Germany and then traveling around Europe. So I've recorded episodes in Germany, Ireland, Italy, in the East Coast, at my husband's family's house, all over the place. And part of my shtick is I love traveling. So I didn't want to have a nice mic. I didn't want to drag it around. I just wanted something like really easy. So I would use like earbuds or like a headset like this and it would like crap out. So if you listen to some of my older podcasts, I mean, even as recently as a few months ago or a few weeks ago, the audio isn't perfect. And I knew this and part of me was like, oh, I'm kind of embarrassed, but it's either put it out there and it's hope that the content is good enough that people are like, cool, I'm glad you put this out there, or not, and just delay it. So I just decided to go for it. And I mean, I'm going to close out the year with 15,000 downloads. So I'm really excited. Yeah. I mean, it's obviously not so bad that people hate it. Like people are listening. So, yeah. So it's good.
You learn from your mistakes and you keep going. I think a lot of people, the one thing with podcasting that I see is, so February 9th will be my 2-year mark for the University of Young Entrepreneurs. And then I've done the Keys of the Crowd and Ambitious Adventures. And we're actually looking at potentially changing the name of the podcast and putting it towards one brand, everything we do towards one brand, making a huge branding change in our companies, which is a big change, but for the long run, it may be what's needed. And I'm not so young anymore, but
whatever, you're still a baby in my mind.
But the thing is, like, where I was going with that, my ADD, but
Accelerant.
Oh, what I kept going, I think the big thing is, and this goes for podcasting, I think this is a business, people get so discouraged in what they do that they don't see results. And they think, like, they see a few hundred views and they're discouraged, like it's not a few thousand. It's like a few hundreds actually. I mean, a few hundred is like a high school. I mean, back where I'm from, it was a high school, you know? So like, that's actually not that bad. And for your Snapchat, oh, I only have X amount, like you're still speaking to an audience. And just think about it. Even if you have, like, let's say 50 listeners on your show, 50 or whatever you have, like that's 50 people. That's no different than you going and giving a 60-minute keynote in front of 50 people. Yeah. If you really know how to communicate with that 50 people, those 50 people could actually turn into a 6-figure business.
True.
So learn how to just keep going, persistence, and don't get discouraged because, I mean, even John Lee Dumas, when I was on set with John Lee Dumas for the Think the Legacy of Think Go Rich, I was there when we were filming him. And one of the things he said is he almost stopped doing podcasting because he had a huge drop in his listeners and he got discouraged. He almost thought about throwing in the towel, but he didn't, and he kept going. And now he has 1.3 million listeners on his show.
Like a month or something, though?
What's up, Lindsay? Hi, Biz BFF.
Oh, Lindsay, hey.
Up. Lindsay,
girl.
But no, I mean, and John's making multi-6 figures a month from podcasting. So he just kept going, and that relates to anything business. Just keep going. Another example, Jake Paul, who interviewed for a TV show, Ambitious Adventures, he has 12.5 million followers now, and he actually gets like 10,000 direct messages a day on Instagram, like just an insane amount. But when he started, him and his brother, they're from Ohio, him and Jake Paul, Logan Paul, they did videos on YouTube. And it took 3 or 4 years before they got 4,000 subscribers. They actually stopped for 2 years, stopped doing videos, and then they started up again. And then Vine came along. They jumped into Vine and became the first to market with Vine. And one of their videos actually became the 5th largest viewed video in all time on Vine. Wow. And that made them go from 4,000 subscribers to millions of followers because they kept going. And that took, you look back, it took them like 6-8 years to get that point. So this is one thing I talked with Michael O'Neill on my podcast show today, is just have patience and keep going. It's not going to happen overnight. It doesn't happen in 6 months. It takes a long time. And even when you do see success, you're going to have failures again. It's part of the journey.
Just a different level.
Yeah. And you keep growing. So this is how it looks like. You're like this, you're going down, you're up, down, down, and then down, and then way up. Like that's the journey. There is light at the end of the tunnel. So have patience with your podcast show. Have patience when you do. I mean, one of the things we talked about we taught in the influencer program for our accelerator is put content out. Having content out there is better than having no content. And that's no different than me with my product Arctic Stick. The failure I had is I waited a year and then I put the product out and I sold it. I shouldn't have waited a year. Don't be afraid to do a Snapchat. Don't be afraid to, now you can do Instagram Live, which is awesome. I did my first one this morning. It became available last night to, I think, everybody. So Instagram Live, and don't be afraid to do Facebook Lives. Just put it out there, because the few people that could see that it just takes one person to make. One person could be $1 million deal. It could change your life. So pretend you're looking for that one person. And don't be afraid what people think. Put your stuff out there.
Yeah, and like you can't have a business if no one can find you and no one can hand you money for value that you give them. So you have to have an offer, and you have to tell people.
Tell the world what you offer, because if you don't tell them what you do, how do they know to come to you?
Yeah.
The best example for that is when I told John Lee Dumas when he came on my podcast show, and that's one thing like we teach like about going on podcast shows, how to make a business deal. Yeah. John came on my show and I said, John, I help people raise money. I do crowdfunding. Any way I can help you? He said, you know what? I'm about to do a crowdfunding campaign for a book called The Freedom Journal. Oh, wow. I can help you. 6 months later, we launched one of the largest crowdfunding campaigns in history for a book because I told John Lee Dumas what I could do for him. I said what I could offer. And in return, he's like, I'll take you up on your services. And even if John didn't, maybe he would have 2 years later. Maybe John would have mentioned to his buddy down the road. Right. I don't know. You need to tell the world about what you offer them so they know when to call on your services. And that's for marketing. So I just did an email out today in my list, and I talked about 2017. I call it right now. The game changer of everything is video. Put video. Put video out. Seriously. Like, that is going to be the biggest game changers. By 2020, 50 billion devices are going to connect to the internet. 50 billion. So if you put out video all 2017 and you be consistent every single day, every single week, what do you think that's going to do for your business by 2020? You're going to reach more eyeballs you could ever expect. You're going to be exponentially reaching people, and you're going to do the work now that will help you make money for the rest of your life. So put out video, Snapchat, Instagram, create videos, get your iPhone out, do Smile Time if they'll have that then, do Facebook Lives, do any kind of video, because pictures don't even do enough justice anymore, because the picture, you go to the next one. Video, if you can keep people wondering what you're going to do next, for me, like, what am I going to say next? I don't know. I'm just going to say something. But keep people questioning and entertained so they are engaged with you. And then maybe I might share something every show we do. Like, I might share something I've never told the world before. And I'm like, holy shit, did I just say that?
Yeah, you forget stories and they come back. Like, I forgot he was teaching me how to make balloon animals in the back of a car. I mean, we weren't sitting in the car, but it was like, it's kind of funny, like in the middle of the night in a parking lot. Like,
yeah. So see, you got the point here to make is I believe, and for all my success that I have had, the most powerful, vital thing to it is video and getting my message out, and then podcasting. So like, share with the world what you do. And that's why, like, I focus everything for helping other people. I help them figure out how to create a Snapchat, a Facebook Live, a podcast show into a monetization where they actually make money doing what they love. A lot of people, they have a business, but they have yet to figure out how to monetize it, which I get it. I've been there before, and it sucks because you're like, this is what I do, but I'm not getting paid for it yet. Learn how to get paid for what you do, but also you're helping yourself become a better speaker.
Oh, yeah.
You're becoming a better writer. You're becoming more known. You're becoming an influencer industry and reaching more people. So the one big pound out, which I don't know where I got in this from mistakes, but the big thing I want people to get out of this is it's a power of video. 2017, that's where I'm putting all my energy in. Video. We're finishing up season 1 of our TV show soon, and that's going to air February 2nd in Orlando, Florida. And then what we're doing from there is we're creating the next season because we want to put a lot of video out there. I'll let you talk, Laura. I've been grinding or I've been ranting away.
Well, I totally agree with you about video, and then audio is number 2, writing as well. I think all those are important. And these days, to really stand out as an entrepreneur, you can just do one, but it's smarter to repurpose and take that and share it in multiple different ways. And yeah, I think you definitely got to shout out Lindsay's question here.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this out. Yeah, I want to make sure I don't put it in the wrong one. So what we have here is, so what do you guys offer? Seeing that we're live and all, it could be neat demo that here, since people will be watching this over. So good question. So what we offer.
So you talk about.
I guess we are already. I mean, we need to offer because they don't know what we can offer. So there's a few things. So we recently launched live2grind.com because we live to grind. Laura does. I mean, she just launched a best-selling book in 30 days. Man, no big deal. 30 days. And like for what we do, for me, a podcasting, my TV show, I want to share with people what I've learned. So what we have created is accelerator programs to accelerate your business in 30 days or less. For me, what I do is, and you've been through it, Laura, you actually won my program and now work with us.
It's our student.
Yeah. Woo, woo. So what we do is we teach people how to become an influencer in their industry, how to add value to influencers, which never thought Laura was going to be adding value to me, which ended up winning, but added value to influencers, how to work with influencers, how to become an influencer, and then how to make money with Snapchat, Facebook Live, Insta Stories, blogging, podcasting, how to become a better podcaster, how to write blogs, how to make the right copy, and then also how to how to share it, and then how to stand out in the crowd. So that's something I focus on. I mean, because I really believe if you want to become very successful in business, if you want to take it to the next level, if you want to be able to charge 10, 20, $5,000 a pop for what you do, or make $100,000 on a deal, you have to become a celebrity in your field. And that's why when I first started, I went on TV across the country for crowdfunding, and I want to be different. I was the only person, and to this day, any person in the world doing it. I would promote crowdfunding campaigns on TV. It made me different. Then I kept building my brand, the power of video. But when you do that, people see you as a celebrity. They see you as a top expert, and they pay you what you want. So for me, what I teach, and we started January 9th. We have a few spots left. It's called the Influencer Accelerator. So if you want access to that, it's live2grind.com / influencer, and join that program. If you guys put in the code CEO, you can get a discount. Highly suggest it. It's one of the best things you can do to start your year. And the one component we can go to now, so Laura, you talk about podcasting. I mean, we've created a podcast accelerator, which I look back at one of my big mistakes was all the things I could have did right. I never did. And now we want to help people from making the mistakes, because honestly, if I could go back in time and change those things, I guarantee you it could have helped me make a lot faster, a lot more money, tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars from not making the mistakes. For you, talk about the program with you for doing the accelerator, for the podcast accelerator.
Yeah. So my background is I've been on the back end of podcasting for about 2.5 years. Hey, Dominic Sirianni, shout out. And and then he and I also started a company called Podtent Marketing, where we help other mid-sized companies and really ambitious entrepreneurs start their own podcast and use it to power their content marketing strategies, and really repurpose the heck out of it and get as much mileage as you can, and really drive a new audience to your services and products, and really grow your business. And so I was in Brandon's first ever influencer accelerator, which just went from October to November. So it just ended. And one of the homework assignments he gave me was to write down 5 influencers I would love to work with, even if that meant doing 3 months of work for free, just to build a relationship, no strings attached, and just say, hey, I want to show you what I can do. Because it's such a great point. Like, you can say you can do things, but a lot of people talk, but not everyone can.
They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. They're full of shit.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen that too. I don't feel as far along as Brandon is, but I've still been in this game for a long time, and I've seen it too. Like, people promise you the world, and then you turn around, and 2 days later, they're like, "Oh, sorry, like,
let down.
My dog threw up, so I'm not like going to get to the stuff that you're paying me for. I'm committed to." So things happen. So I did make a list of 5 people, and then I put Brandon as a 6th person. I was like, well, I know you still do a lot for your own 3 podcasts, so maybe I could help you out. And he was like, okay, cool. And everything he gave me, I just said, here it is, better than you expected. And what else? What else? Give me more, give me more, give me more. And then eventually I was doing like a ton of stuff while writing a book that also hit #1. Like, I literally was getting up at 4 a.m., going to bed at like 9:30 because I was trying to still get a good amount of sleep. But I literally did not stop working that entire like frame. And I never wanted to let you down. I was just like, there's no excuses. It's happening. Like, I don't care if I'm tired. I don't care if something else came up. Like, I have to make it happen. So, long story short, do you want to say something though?
No, long story short, I mean, what I take away, so you push yourself, and that's one thing we in the programs we challenge people. I love a competition. Yeah, and the top, I mean, you just came on the show today. The top performers come on my podcast show. They come on your podcast show now. And also they get featured in our magazine, Accelerant, which comes out in February, by the way. We get our magazine coming out, which I'm so excited about. And everybody that joins the actual programs, they get a section with their picture in the magazine. So you get in the magazine, you get like there's so many things you get out of it.
More credibility indicators.
More credibility to become an influencer. But for you, like, you added so much value to me. And I honestly, like, this isn't a serious. So what I offered you, I've offered everybody in the program. I offered everybody that reached out to me, people that reach out to me, hey, Brandon, how can I help you? Because I always teach, like, add value to others and help people. But about 0.001% actually follow through with it. And the ones that did follow through or have, work with me. What's that? Like, seriously, it's like Mike has been with me for over a year now, and Mike did it. Andrew has been doing it for 4 years, and now you did it, and within a month and a half, like, you added so much value. I'm like, where have you been my whole life? Like, so now, like, you work with us because you added so much value that I'm like, wow, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So if you want, and this is for anything, but if you want to have success in life, if you're in corporate, you want to climb the ladder, become a person of value. And when you start doing more for what you're paid for, you will eventually get paid more than what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that's when the snowball effect comes, and you can make money while you're sleeping. We talked about Rich Dad, Poor Dad earlier. Like, so become a person of value and do so much for people that they can't resist it and they want to work with you. And you get to the point where, hey, you know, I don't want to work with you. You're not the right fit. And here's my fee. And don't flinch. You'll be like, I charge 10 to 20 grand and I get 15% of your totally raised or whatever. And if they don't want to deal, okay, that's fine. I don't need to work with you because I have people lined up to work with me. That is why you add a lot of value. So back to your podcast accelerator and why that, again, you were talking about how that's really a key tip. If you want to win my accelerator, you just have to learn how to add a lot of value to everybody in the group, but also me. So for you, like, for podcasting, what are you excited about to teach people in the podcast accelerator where people can really go from no podcast to potentially getting new and noteworthy and getting more downloads? And for me, sharing shit that I wish I would have did when I first launched.
Yeah. So I'm obsessed with podcasts now. I've got multiple companies that help other people do it. I have a book now all about copywriting for podcasters, so how to actually write the words that go along with your podcast to make sure that it gets found and converts people to really be interested in listening and then following up with you and engaging with your business. And then my background is in teaching. And then I helped you with your podcast. So it just like all came together in this perfect storm, something I never could have planned 2-3 years ago when I got into podcasting. And that's like another side tip is like, you don't know how things are going to come together in the future, but that doesn't matter. Keep going and it's just going to all come together in a cool way. So I'm also really excited. Same day, January 9th, I'm leading the charge on a podcasting specific accelerator. And it's going to be very tactical. I'm a teacher, so I like steps and directions and clarity and tracking and goals and seeing results. So, but I do it in like a nice, fun way. You probably can tell now I'm not like mean. And so what we're going to do is basically from idea to iTunes and beyond in 30 days. You're going to be working one-on-one with me. So every single week, you're going to get time with just me so I can focus laser sharp on exactly what you need and what questions you have. You're going to get FaceTime with Brandon. And then we're also going to have group meetings and a private Facebook group, which is Mastermind. Yes. So here's a quick tip for you, even if you never join any of the accelerators. One of the components into getting onto iTunes New and Noteworthy, which is a good thing. It's kind of like imagine being on the top page of Google for 8 weeks.
It's a good feeling because so I have a couple searches where I got the top of Google, which it helps bring a lot of traffic to your stuff.
Yeah, because iTunes is like that. New and Noteworthy, they have, like all-time popular shows that you can rank for. But of course, like Tim Ferriss and big ones are up there. But the new and noteworthy are for brand new shows. But it's also on the top of the page, essentially. So if you can get that, and you're only eligible in the first 8 weeks that your show goes live. So that's another reason to have shows in the bank, like you talked about earlier, so that you're not like scrambling to, do your next episode when really you should be promoting and trying to get more subscriptions, ratings, and reviews, because those contribute to your being viewed as new and noteworthy.
And that's another thing too, everybody in the mastermind group. So one thing of a powerful mastermind is everybody is adding value to each other and trying to make each other better. And when you get a group of like-minded individuals in a room or on a Skype call, like the ideas that throw off of each other, and when you share some of the struggles you have and people share some of the things they learn, like you can relate and then you can help each other. So like the beautiful thing with doing a podcast accelerator is people in the group are all going to give you, if we had 15 and 20 people in the podcast accelerator, that's 15 or 20, that's 5-star reviews that help you in your show to jumpstart on day one. And that's one thing, like I wish I would have had at least 25 or 30 reviews on day one of launch, like right after launch, but I didn't. So I didn't get that jumpstart I should have.
Yeah. And like, these are things that we're going to just lay out for you with some strategies. And, there's a billion strategies, but I'm going to give you just the top few that you really want to implement that are going to make the most bang for your buck. And we're going to talk about the technical things. So you don't have to worry if you're not crazy technical savvy. You don't have to worry about slogging through blogs and webinars for the next 3 months to figure out what equipment you want. I already know which ones work and don't. I will tell you. Learn from my mistakes and I will tell you. And we're going to talk about how, you know what else what I love is I'm like a nerd for organization and keeping things clear.
Yeah, I'm so good at that. That's why you do my notes.
Yeah. But I'm going to give people in the course templates that they can use and start putting in their own information right away, so they don't have to spend the time to create the template or to create the system. Like I'm just give you that. So you're just getting a huge jump start to everything that you would do around podcasting.
So you're getting not only access to me, but you're getting access to my executive producer on my show right here, Laura. So you get into our group and our mastermind. So one thing I really want to go into is failures. I know we got about 7 minutes left, 5 minutes.
I saw the book failure. I don't know if you want to know.
Yeah, I do want to go with book failure, but I first want to hear audio failures. What is like a number one audio failure that you've had, or with a show that you uploaded, something went really wrong? But I'm going to share one. I'll let you think, but I'm going to share one with you. And it's not really a failure. I kind of got in a little trouble. So I once went into, so when I launched Arctic Sick, I had went to Amazon. I keynoted an event in Georgia, Atlanta, and it was an Amazon Inventions Tour. And I know I've talked about how I've got on the cover of Inventor's Digest because I had Louis Foreman on my podcast show. That's how I share about how you make deals on podcasts.
Yeah.
But I went and spoke at his event, and I went and pitched to Amazon. But you know me, I like to share with my audience everything I've learned. I put my lav mic on and plugged it in my phone. I went and I pitched to them in front of all these corporate people, and I recorded it all. And
did you know you were recording?
I planned it. I wanted my audience to hear the pitch.
Okay, cool.
So I recorded it all because I wanted to record my pitch, and I wanted my audience to hear all the questions that Amazon might ask, so then they know how to do a pitch. I uploaded a week later. The show was a fucking hit. It was a hit. But you know what happened?
You got in trouble.
Amazon wasn't very happy with me. They contacted me and they said, Brandon, we would like you to take that show down immediately because that's going against our like privacy or whatever. And like for me, I play dumb. I'm the kind of guy like I'll ask for forgiveness later. And I did or whatever. So I took it down, but that show I still have it for myself. But that show within like a week, everybody's listed. They loved it. I had to take it down. So if you actually do go on iTunes and you look, I don't even know what episode, one of the earlier ones, there's one missing.
There's like
you'll see like 78, 79, 80, and then 82. Like I don't even know which one it is, but because I did something I wasn't supposed to, but I wanted to share that with my audience and they didn't like it. So shit happens. So for you, what's one of the failures or audio things you said?
Yeah, none of mine are as dramatic. I I do have, right after this call, I'm re-recording an interview that I did already because somehow something went crazy with Skype and it didn't catch it. I went to go edit together and it was like 30 seconds of us saying, hey, can you hear me? Yeah, everything's great. And just starting to chat. And then it just went dead. And I was like, oh my God. And so I had to go to her and I was like, I am so sorry. Something went wrong, but can we re-record? And I feel like a jerk, but I mean, everyone's been there.
Knock on wood, I've never had that happen.
That's good.
I have been on a show where somebody on their end, it didn't work, but I had the recording saved. So I'm like, here you go. Because I didn't want to do it over. Because like, you're always afraid. Like, you don't know, like, oh, what if I lose the interview? That's a value. How? What if it wasn't recorded? My thinking is like, when we film our TV show, like, what if we lost one of the footages from a whole, like we're spending thousands of dollars to film in a city. And I heard one horror story from a guy I know, a buddy. He actually got hired to film these actors and models. And we're talking very expensive. Like this was like a $30,000 job. Well, it turned out that something went wrong with the footage and he lost half of it. He had to, on his own dime, talk about a failure, pay all the models come back in. So he lost a lot of money in the job because the film was like, they had to redo it all.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine that?
Like
talk about, so make sure you're recorded. Make sure that record button's on.
Yeah. And I'll teach you that in the podcast accelerator.
I'll teach you.
Which you can find at livetogrind.com/podcasting. And if you put in my last name, Peterson with all E's, you get 10% off.
And if you put in CEO, which I just need to put my name, but CEO into mine for the influencer, you get 10% off. So I know we got to wrap up. And just before we leave, so for one, if you want to check out the Influencer Accelerator, it's livetogrind.com/influencer. And for Laura, it is livetogrind.com/podcasting. And then if you want to also check out, we have for real estate agents and then college students. So we have the livetogrind.com/college and then also for real estate. So we're creating this whole community to teach people take their business to a whole next level. And we live to grind. So we want to bring people in that like to live to grind and take them to the next level. Check out the programs. I mean, I've been talking to some people lately, like it is the biggest game changer in your life. I know it. And I just from the things from you experience, from the people in the program that made a lot of money, they've started their own companies, they created courses, they became speakers. Like it does a lot for somebody. And it started a new year
in a short time when you're focused.
Yeah. In 30 days, you can get a lot done. And that's our plan, to take people to the whole next level and change their life. And that's why I'm so excited. Go to livetogrind.com. And for failures, again, failure is a stepping stone towards your success. You're going to have them. Find somebody who's already achieved what you want to achieve. Follow in their footsteps. Find a mentor. Find a podcasting expert. Find somebody who's, for me, I've made a lot of mistakes. Find somebody who figured out kind of early on what to do. Like learn from their mistakes, and then also join a mastermind. Seriously,
so much better than being alone. Like just sitting in your cave working and just researching, you're not going to get where you want to go. I tried it already.
It's the power of the team. And I thought at one time, I laughed, somebody the other day told me like they can do it on their own. I just felt bad. I'm like, no, you can't. You reminded me of my 20-year-old self who is full of shit and thought he could do everything by himself. It doesn't work that way. You need a team. What you know, you do. What you don't know, have the experts do. And that's why you need a mastermind team. And that's why with our program, we create a mastermind. Any other last words? This was fun. We had a few technical difficulties, but I think we had some people on. I think it was fun. We do this every Thursday, by the way. We do this every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. We're doing this live. It's called Accelerant TV. And we're just going to keep going with it. I love this.
Bigger and better.
We started, and we're just going to keep going off of it.
And then Rudell asked grind.com, and then I typed in the answer. It's livetogrind.com.
Because some people might think the grind like grind. Livetogrind.com.
Different meaning. I didn't realize.
Where's my head at? I don't know. I'm going to get back to I need some coffee.
I'm going to talk to your branding expert on that one.
Okay. Well, hey, thank you, Laura. This is fun. This is a lot of fun. I can't wait. And how do I record this just so I remember? How do we record this so I get access to it later? Do I just press go offline, or how do I do this?
Yeah. You want to take us offline, and then I know how. There's like a video. I could even post it. I have to go find it again, where it shows you how you can save videos from Facebook, and then we can put it up on YouTube.
Oh, then that's fine. It's already, you know how to do it. Sweet. See, I got a powerhouse on my team. You got to surround yourself with people that are really smart. Thank you, Laura. I know you get another podcast show to go on because
got to re-record.
You know how to get on podcast shows. That's another thing we teach. Get on podcast shows.
Yeah.
So have a great Thursday. Until next time. By the way, anybody listening, I have an interview in an hour, 4 p.m. Eastern, with Brian Evans, the founder of Influenza.
Yeah.
If you want to check that out, I talk about the power of communication with podcasting, writing, and more. So, hey, I'm going to do that soon.
Back live in 2 hours? 1 hour.
1 hour.
1 hour.
Oh, wow. 1 hour. Okay. Well, hey, everybody, until next time, we'll see you there. Or see you next time. Live the grind. Okay, we're offline.
Cool.
Okay. Well, hey, that was good.
That's
we got
good.
over.